great basketball.
Defender to the basket, Jason Tatum.
Be covering pre and post game back on this channel.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back in to Celtics Post Game Live. I am your host, Rob Haytayan. Joined with me is my co-host, Justin Lowe. Joining us shortly will be Ian Angelo as the Celtics pick up a 117-113 win at home. The C's, after dropping an ugly one in New York, get back on track. Things got a little close there towards the end. Darius Garland knocking down a couple of open threes to garbage time buckets, I guess you could say, to narrow the lead. C's still hold on commandingly. Jason Tatum had himself a day. He felt good to be home. I bet for JT, 41 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, teetered with a triple-double. Also shot 62% from the floor, 67% from downtown. How about Al Horford tonight, Justin? 23 points, 11 rebounds as well. He knocked down 6 of 8 from downtown, 8 of 10 from the floor. And then let's not dismiss JB. He had 16, kind of a rough first 3 quarters, came into his own here in the fourth. He had 10 points in that fourth quarter. And then we can't leave out the Time Lord Robert Williams. He had 11 points, 11 rebounds. Guess what? 30 minutes played tonight for the Time Lord, Justin. Good sign there. Let's dive into this, though. You know the drill. Your thoughts, your takeaways, your reactions post-game.
Yeah, so this one was, as Ian Angelo joins, this one was really big for the Celtics. I thought what made me kind of nervous was that, we dropped a lousy one to the Knicks. So the Celtics didn't really play horrible, but at the same time, they just missed a lot of open shots. It was an ugly game, an ugly loss. And typically, following an ugly loss, you want to play a team like the Hornets. You want to play a team like the Rockets, the Pistons. You can go into the Garden and ramp it up with a good win. But you look and then you see the Cavs on your schedule. You're like, ooh, could this be? They already have 2 games against us. Now we're the 2 seed. We could have easily came in here and dogged this game, and the Cavs could be up 3-0 in the season series. But Celtics came out in the second half, especially, and dominated. They had a 25-9 run in that third quarter. Tatum, 18 of his 41 in that third quarter as well. Typically, and Scal mentioned it on the broadcast, and I it was funny because I was thinking the same thing. The Celtics, the past few games, have been dogging it the first 2 to 3, 4 minutes of the second half, and that's when the Celtics get themselves into trouble. They didn't do that tonight, and they stuck it out with the win. It did get a little scary in the end, but nonetheless, Celtics were able to close this one out. They found yet another way to win against a really good Cleveland Cavaliers team, a team who we might meet on our side of the bracket come playoff time. Whether that's in the first round, the second round, we don't know. But this matchup certainly can't be, overlooked whatsoever.
I mean, it was great. Obviously, welcoming Ian. Ian, you know the drill. Your thoughts, your reactions, your takeaways. C's pick up a big win at home tonight.
It was a huge win tonight, and this is the exact bounce-back game that you needed out of Jason Tatum tonight. I mean, he was absolutely incredible, and this is the best that we've seen him post All-Star break. And normally his play always seems to pick up in March, but I don't know, March Tatum might be a thing because he was absolutely insane tonight, and he was insanely efficient too. I think he was 13 of 21 overall. I mean, that's insane efficiency for him. So that's happy to see because he did have kind of a rough month of February, but if this is the Jason Tatum we're going to get for March, I'm all aboard on it because he played absolutely out of his mind tonight. Al Horford, I mean, what can you say about Al Horford that hasn't already been said? He is absolutely amazing.
And I want to touch on the Celtics bigs because we didn't have Robert Williams in the first 2 prior matchups to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And when we played the Cavs and we dropped both games, they were close games. But what was that missing factor? What was that X factor that was really holding the Celtics back? It was Robert Williams. It was 100% Robert Williams. Rob comes in tonight, plays nearly 31 minutes, gets a double-double, shoots perfect from the floor. He had a couple of blocks. He had a steal. Rob had his paws all over this game. This was a huge game for the Celtics bigs, especially throwing out Horford, my man, 23 points, 8 of 10 from the field, started off 6 for 6 from long range. This was just an overall, not only a big Celtics win, but we know that Mobley and Jared Allen are one of the best front courts in the league for sure, hands down. And for the Celtics to play the way they did tonight, especially get the performance from their bigs, that is huge, and that's a huge step in the right direction. This was just a huge game for the Celtics in general, especially the Bucks are probably going to close out this game tonight against the Orlando Magic with the win. So to keep up with the Bucks, now it's kind of pacing themselves, right? Celtics and Bucks, we knew it was going to come down to this. It is coming down to this. We got Brooklyn on Friday.
Yeah, I thought it was a big time win. Cleveland is a team that's no walk in the park at all. This is a good competitive team. Donovan Mitchell hung up 44 on you. He was efficient. It kind of felt very 2021, 2022-esque of the Celtics. You remember how good we were in those third quarters last year. We would really leave our mark on the game in that third quarter. It kind of felt like we did the same thing tonight. We put the game away right after halftime. To me, that is showing growth from the Joe Mazzulla side of things on this team. He's making halftime adjustments. He's seeing the game through, and I'm happy to see that. Obviously, 41-26 in that third quarter was kind of the difference overall. Another thing I'm looking at, obviously, Ian already touched on this. He nailed it. Jason Tatum. I mean, sigh of relief. Tatum starts the season pretty shaky throughout the first 5 years of his career. He didn't have that this season where he hits a slump. That really, it's usually November is a pretty rough month for him. He came out of the gate hot. February, there was a lot of traveling. Obviously, the All-Star break, he wasn't in Boston much. He was saying that interview, man, I just need to be home. I need to get a home-cooked meal. I need to be in my bed. That's a very real thing through the course of 82 games when you're traveling. Your shot's off, your legs aren't there. Homesick, yeah. I mean, totally positive sign there. I mean, he had a phenomenal game. One of his probably best games of the year, almost a 41-point triple-double. I think his passing has been phenomenal in February. Despite his poor shooting, his assist numbers are up 2 per game, up to 6.5, I believe, in February. So
that's
happy to see
big leap.
Yeah, happy to see Tatum there. Another 2 more points I want to bring up. I'm going to obviously touch base on you guys with each one of them. First things first, no Grant Williams tonight. Justin and I were talking about this all throughout the game. Grant Williams, he's a hot topic over here. Shaky season from Grant. Ian, I know you're trying not to. You're holding back that laugh right now, and I can't help but acknowledge it. But rough, shaky season from Grant. He got this first ever. What, Justin? You said it. First ever coach's decision. Did not play since when? 2021 March.
2021 of May, yeah. It's been a while.
So
it's been almost 2-3 years it's been, so it's nuts.
This is a guy who is looking to get paid big time in the offseason. You can't, is this a wake-up call for Grant? Are they is Mazzulla maybe trying to wake him up, or is this potentially, because he was a big-time piece last year in our playoff run. He hung up 27 points on the Bucks in a Game 7 of the semifinals, which essentially was winner of that game goes to the finals. Grant almost put up 30. So what's going on with Grant Williams right now? I mean, should we be concerned about this? Because I think we do need Grant to be playing good basketball to give us a better chance to make the finals.
So when it comes to Grant, you know how much I love Grant. But let's be honest here. When was the last time that Grant Williams had a really outstanding performance? It's been a long time.
Houston game. Few months ago.
The Houston game, or maybe the Toronto game. I don't know. It's been a long time. Grant's been struggling for a long time, and I've seen the discourse going around Celtics Twitter as well, talking about Grant Williams and really shouldn't be out there. And I mean, it sucks because he was for us at one point, but if you're not helping, then you out there is just hurting the team. Then he probably be playing, and it sucks to say that, but the Celtics are trying all this year, and if you're not there, the Celtics have a lot of depth to fill the role. He didn't play well today. They have Mike Muscala, they have Sam Hauser, they have guys that can fill a somewhat similar role to Grant. Well, obviously, Grant's a better defender than both of those guys, but it just feels like he hasn't fit this season, and it sucks to say, but it's just not working out. Bar. So I was interesting to see the DNP, but I mean the Celtics won the game.
Yeah, we've seen that before. I think
Go ahead.
I think we're having an Ian and Seamus moment right now. That's not our game, man. We
Well,
can't
it's
talk
Grant.
over
It's
each other.
Grant. You know, Grant brings
No,
out
I
Grant
know.
brings out the worst
I
of
know.
us.
So like the thing is I love Grant. I love his attitude, but like okay, if this $20 million thing is for real, I don't know if this is a wake up call to him. I don't know if something happened behind the scenes. Look, man, we could totally be blowing this out of proportion, 100%. But at the same time, can you blame us for reacting like this when he hasn't sat out a healthy scratch since May of 2021? That's 2 years. That's over 2 years ago. So, no, I think there is something to it. I think there is something behind this. And at the same time, we have guys like that's how deep this team is, though. We have healthy scratches on guys who will play serious, legitimate minutes on other teams. That's just how deep this team is. And when you throw in them, some nights we have the luxury of going with Mike Muscala. Other nights we're going to go with Grant, and we saw heavy minutes the other night. Grant Williams came in, no Mike Muscala. Tonight, Mike Muscala came in, Grant Williams didn't play. So that's something that Joe Mazzulla, he has options, and he needs to work on that in terms of, guess what? We're getting a playoff time, Rob. We need to know a set rotation. Yeah. We need to know what lineups work, what lineups don't. It's not time to experiment in the playoffs. We saw what Steve Nash did in Brooklyn. He had so many players on that team, but he could never set his rotations. He could never get a game plan together, and it hurt the Brooklyn Nets in the long run. That can't happen here in Boston, and I don't think it will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Grant Williams situation. Couple things come to mind. One of them being is we need Grant on his A game. We just do. Hate him or love him, Grant plays a pretty big time role in a position we don't really have a lot of depth of. Hauser only played, I believe, 8 minutes tonight. Muscala, I believe, played 11. I didn't love what I saw from Muscala on the offensive end. However, I think he contributed. He found a way to contribute on the defensive end. I didn't hate what I saw, how he was defending. So I think that's a positive with Mike. He didn't score. Only took 3 shots. 0-2 from behind the arc. Positive plus minus, I believe. He was -2. But the whole bench played kind of poorly. White only had 4. Hauser was the leading scorer with 6. Brogdon only had 2 points, which is super uncharacteristic of him. But this was kind of a game where it kind of felt like a playoff game. 35 or 36 minutes from Tatum, 33 from Al, 37 from Brown, 36 from Smart, 31 from Rob, 24 from White, 22 from Brogdon. So, like, you're going to see that, but we can't afford to have Grant Williams riding pine. And if he is riding pine, we need him to stay positive. I don't know, like you said, this could have just been like a, it's weird.
Right.
Grant has, like I said, this was probably our best bench player last season. With Derek White needing time to adjust. So, Grant Williams, this is something you got to look at if you're a Celtics fan and circle it. Don't freak out, but circle it. Just like Robert Williams minutes, hyphen it, look into it, monitor it. Because if this is a trend, then I think you can start to say, where are we going to go? You're putting a lot of what's the word? You're putting a lot of you're putting all your eggs in the Hauser basket, essentially, in the playoffs. Obviously Muscala can play some of those minutes. Maybe you see Blake Griffin down the stretch in the playoffs, but like you said, Justin, come playoff time, you need that set rotation. You're going to see 8 guys, 9, maybe 9. I doubt we go 9 deep, but we'll probably see 8 guys who are playing heavy minutes. You need to find those 8. And we really have 7 of the 8. We just need to find that last piece off the bench. Obviously, buyout market didn't come out, didn't work out, whatever Barton, we missed on. Green, we missed on. Ross, we missed on. But we got a very talented squad. I'm happy with this is the squad we're rolling with this it's a little stretch, right? We got 19 games left? 19 games, Justin, and it's playoff time. Post All-Star break, we're 3-1. I like what I've seen in pretty much every game besides New York. But Justin, the thing is, obviously we didn't go live after the New York, but so I do want to touch on it a little bit. Not too much though. Like, is it really a Celtics season if we don't get embarrassed in some fashion at Madison Square Garden? It's a hostile environment. They've been a very, very hot team. They play good defense. That's a game you can be okay with losing. It's just how we lost it wasn't ideal.
No.
But I think we set things straight tonight.
Look, what happened in that Knicks game is I don't read much into that. The Celtics missed a lot of wide open shots. So I saw this tweet. It was divided into 3 tweets. It was tight shots, contested shots, open shots, and wide open shots. On the wide open shots, the Celtics shot something like 3 of 19 on wide open shots. The Celtics shot themselves in the foot quite literally against the New York Knicks. They couldn't make shots. The ball movement was there. The placement was there. The shots were there. They just weren't making them. And that happened. I thought the defense was solid. The Celtics played solid defense against the Knicks. I thought there were a few miscommunications that you can clean up on, but nothing really struck and nothing made me worry during that game. That was one of those games where you're like, ugh, every time the Celtics cut it down to 6, it would go right back up to 12. Every time the Celtics cut it down to 7, it'd go right back up to 14. It was one of those games that happens. But to come out, play the way they did against this Cleveland team, get the win, and then boom, on to Brooklyn. That is so huge. Remember, when you're a winning team and you're trying to build a winning culture, at least keep it alive, it's all about how you respond, how Jason Tatum responds. He responded with a 41-point near triple-double on national TV in a win against a top 4 seeded team in the Eastern Conference. That's what you want to see, and that's what you want to see from your star player. That's epic.
Yeah, I thought it was, like I said, it was exactly what you wanted to see from the Boston Celtics tonight. It's what you were looking for. I mean, think about it. After last game, we weren't worried about necessarily, sure, the 1 seed was scary. The Bucks are playing some phenomenal basketball right now. Right. But they're due for that. The Milwaukee Bucks started out shaky. They need this string of 15 games. I believe this is their 15th or 16th win tonight against Orlando. They were due for a big time run. I think the Celtics need to stay their course. I think they need to make sure to continue to play winning basketball tonight. It really made me had my worries put aside. I was a little nervous about Tatum, not necessarily for the playoffs, but just for like I said, these last 19 games are so pivotal for the playoff push, for those standings. And the Celtics need to be gunning for that 1 seed, right, Ian? So I do think that tonight, kind of, obviously, I would like to see it again against Brooklyn. But it was kind of the first time in a while, fully healthy against a really good team where we looked really, really good on both sides of the ball. We won against Philly. Obviously, did we have Jaylen? No, with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown was playing, but it was an ugly win. It wasn't pretty, right? We didn't win it super. It wasn't like a game you look back on, you say, oh, wow, like great win. It was a good win where you're like, we found gut check win. You found a way to squeeze it out. You got to win those types of games. These types of games at home against the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, you go out, your best player shoots very efficient, almost as a triple-double. You play good defense. That's how you want to play it, right, Ian?
Definitely. This is the team that we saw last year when everyone was healthy. This is the team that ran through the in the second half of the season last year. You want to see out of the Celtics moving forward. This is a great sign, especially if they can continue the momentum heading into the playoffs. The Celtics have had this thing where they go up and down. They've been very inconsistent over the last month or so, especially Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum has had some amazing games followed by some very terrible games. I need to see it again. Just build more momentum heading into the playoffs. That's the most important thing for this team. As much as you want the 1 seed, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I don't really know what deal it is at this point. Milwaukee is just going to be, and who knows if they're ever going to lose a game again. So Even if the Celtics don't get the 1 seed, the playoffs are that matter the most. So if you can play your best basketball heading into the play, I think that's all that matters.
I think there's a good chance that the Celtics and Bucks first seed, second seed battle comes down to that late March matchup we have with them. I think there's a really good chance both teams are tied right around 56, 57, 55 wins entering the playoffs. And it's going to come down to who's going to grab that series tiebreaker. Is that in Milwaukee, that game, or is that in Boston?
It's in Milwaukee.
So they got two. So we play them 3 times, right? 2 of them in Milwaukee, 1 of them in Boston, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go into their place, and I think that game will be a really, really good benchmark to what to expect for the playoffs, because that will be a playoff type atmosphere. Winner could potentially grab the 1 seed, which home court against the Milwaukee Bucks could be the difference between winning the NBA Finals and going home early. I mean, that's how serious that's how close it's going to be with the Bucks. It could be who's at home for a game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's the exciting part. I mean, you got to love it. It's 2 top dogs in the East, 2 teams playing phenomenal basketball with arguably the 2 best players in the league right now, and Jason Tatum and Giannis Antetokounmpo leading the charge. It is exciting. I love what I saw from the Celtics tonight. But with that being said, C's got to stay focused, take it 1 game at a time. Justin, you said it best. Great win. We're on to Brooklyn this Friday. Let's talk about a little bit about Brooklyn. Someone who we haven't talked about, Jaylen Brown, wasn't great tonight. Wasn't terrible. Kind of picked things up in that fourth quarter. He had 10 fourth quarter points, which, you always like to see that fourth quarter shots to start falling. What do we want to see out of JB? Obviously, he's got that mask on for about 4 to 6 weeks. We heard. What do we want to see, Justin, from JB entering this game against Brooklyn at home?
I just want to see him continue to stay aggressive. Don't settle for shots. I love when I think. Look, I sound like a broken record. I say this about Tatum. I say this about the Celtics in general. The Celtics are at their best when they're cutting, when they're driving, when that ball touches the paint. We didn't see a lot of paint touches in that New York game. Hence, the Celtics lost by 15. And now tonight, we saw a lot of paint touches for the Celtics. Celtics only had attempted 32 threes, which for them is very, very low. Just stay aggressive. Stay the course with Jaylen Brown. Look, that mask, I don't really think it's a big issue for Jaylen Brown. I'm sure there is some uncomfortability there for him, but I do think he is comfortable enough for him to go out and have the types of performances he's had with that mask on already. Just for him, just stay healthy, goddammit. 2 years ago, he injured his wrist, out for the year. Last year, he had some lingering hamstring issues. This year, he's in a friggin' mask. Like, we just need JB to just stay healthy, man. Stay the course and finish this season out healthy. Go out and kill Brooklyn. You were almost on this Brooklyn Nets team, according to Stephen A. Smith. So go out there and put 50 on him on ESPN.
Yeah,
like he did the last time.
Yeah, like he did the last time.
It's kind of funny because we weren't necessarily super healthy last playoff run. Everyone was talking about no Chris Middleton. Obviously, that hurts for Milwaukee. But, I mean, if I'm dating back, if I can remember correctly, we had Robert Williams on one leg, Marcus Smart on one ankle, Jaylen Brown playing with one hamstring. So, like,
Jason Tatum had one wrist.
Yeah, so it's like.
But that's excuses when it comes to us. But when
excuses, it's excuses when you lose.
Yeah, so
it doesn't matter if you win.
I think considering yes, not having Middleton, I'm not discrediting that. We had the advantage with Middleton out of the lineup. However, we weren't perfectly healthy. Smart had missed some games. Rob was missed some games. We were honestly, that might be tougher in a playoff series, arguably, when you're shuffling lineups. You don't know who's going to be active.
Game 7.
Yeah, like you don't know you don't know what lineup you're rolling out with in game 4 because Smart's down and then Smart's in and then Rob's out and then Rob's in and Smart's out. So it's like you don't know. That might be tougher, arguably. So, you got a lot of things to consider entering the playoffs. Like I said, it's a toss-up right now between Boston and Milwaukee. Who am I taking? 7 games. I'm taking Boston. I think their depth is better. I think Jaylen Brown is the difference maker. The Bucks do not have a Jaylen Brown. And I think Jason Tatum is a lot closer to Giannis than people give him credit for. And I think he'll prove that this postseason. And listen, like this is playoff basketball. These post-game shows have transitioned from talk about, the All-Star into how can these games and our performance on a Wednesday night on March 1st against the Cleveland Cavaliers team at home, how will this translate to playoff success? That is where we're moving forward. I'm excited for it. I'm all for it. The playoff time is the best time of the year for me personally. I love the playoffs. Great. It's just the feeling of playoff basketball. There's nothing like it. I'm so excited. But like I said, again, it was everything you wanted to see from the Celtics. It was a great win.
Definitely. I think another thing, like you say, when was the last time the Celtics had these huge expectations like that? They're the legit title contender in the NBA. I mean, it's been a long time since Celtics were
08, maybe 10.
Exactly. They're the legit, they were the legit team. They were the team that's supposed to win it all. I mean, it's fun. It's kind of fun to see our transition and our growth with the way the Celtics have grown as a podcast. Was, back in the day where it was this Evan Fournier trade can really help the Celtics. Maybe they'll squeak out, 2-game playoff series versus the Brooklyn Nets. And now we're here, like Rob said, it's a game in the beginning of March, and we're talking about how this is going to, translate to the playoffs and how the Celtics can get to the finals again. That's huge. And that just kind of the mentality shift of basically everybody and everybody's expectations of this team. And they know the expectations. We know the expectations. Everyone knows the expectations of this team. And it's get NBA finals, and this time win it. So
it's kind of it really is. Ian made a great point. Expectations haven't been, maybe in 2019, but that 2019 team like really wasn't the front runner for the finals. They were kind of like the team that was deemed had the best chance to take down the Warriors, right? They weren't really like the front runner to win the finals. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say. I mean, like I said, these what we're talking about here is, you want to put together a string of 10 games. Obviously, that 1 seed still is super important to get. That right now should be the Celtics' goal. And it's kind of a shame because we thought about a month ago that maybe we're going to get those last 3 games to rest players. The way it's looking, the Celtics are going to have to battle for that 1 seed. Still 19 games, still a lot of basketball to be played. You got about 6 weeks left of the regular season, but Celtics are going to have to gun for it. And I'll tell you what, they did a hell of a job tonight at home against Cleveland. The Celtics picked up a 117-113 victory. Like I said, JT, he was leading the way for the Celtics. 41 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Al Horford not too far behind him, 23 points, 8 of 10 from the floor from Big Al. Guys, before we head off, final takeaway, reactions, thoughts before we sign off until Friday night.
Bucks and Philly play on Saturday night primetime, 8:30 on ABC. I'm telling you, that could be one of the biggest games of the season for both teams and for just the NBA in general. That could be like one of the biggest games of the year. And I'm saying that. I don't care if it's going to be March 5th or March 4th. That is going to be one of the biggest games of the year in the NBA.
Philly better win if they be labeled as frauds.
Yeah,
they better win. I just don't know, man. Milwaukee, I just feel like Milwaukee is due for a loss, but they were also due for a mega epic win streak that they're on as well. Giannis and the Bucks keep rolling, and I don't want to spend much time talking about them, but I do want to ask, what the hell is going on with Giannis? First of all, I thought Giannis was out with the wrist injury. He comes back, he plays the first game out of the All-Star break, hurts his knee, misses 1 game, and then he's back. Every time I've read a report about Giannis being hurt, it was that he was expected to miss some time. and he's been playing basketball. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if it's because they caught
have
up.
the super soldier serum. So this.
Well, I don't get it. I'm
time.
reading reports that he was at, like, one report I read that he was going to be out for a few games, and he turns out, just like the All-Star break game, he played 20 seconds, got a hoop, and then sat out because of his wrist hurt. And then he comes out first game from the All-Star break and he plays again. I don't understand. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, that's
I
something
don't
to
know.
monitor.
But something I want to say, I don't know if this was talked about yet. There are three Celtics players that have 20 plus 40-point games in their Larry Bird, Paul Pierce, Jason Tatum. 3 Celtics players all time to have 40-point games in their career. 20 plus 40-point games in their career.
And JT's only 19.
JT's that dude.
He's only,
JT.
And I mean, like I say, I've said this for a long time, and this might not be the craziest discourse or anything that really matters to talk about. If Jason Tatum can win a ring for the Celtics, he might go down as probably one of the best Celtics to ever play.
He'll need a couple. Zero gets retired. Do you think Tatum Zero gets retired?
To beat
if he gets a couple
all time, he's going to have to pull rings, but he's going to be up there as one of the greatest due to pure talent alone. If he ring for this team,
that 3 spot is calling his name behind.
He's going to be 3. He's already close to that. I mean, let's be honest here. It's kind of a toss-up between him and Paul Pierce right now. Paul Pierce has a ring. That's the only thing that's.
Who are your top 3 Celtics right now?
Russell, Bird, and Pierce.
No, Havlicek.
Yeah,
got to give it a.
Yeah, I was gonna say. In order to, I'm giving it Russell. I know we'll probably talk about this on the podcast. We won't dive into it. I'm saying Russell, Bird, and Havlicek.
Podcast thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Tatum. Listen, Tatum. Also, when it's all said and done, I agree. I think he has the window is there to become that good. That 3 spot is calling his name. You got a lot of legends that have played for the Celtics. Pierce, Havlicek, whatever your order is, there have been some legends. But guess what? As Celtics fans, Grant Williams, as Celtics fans,
Blake,
you got to be happy. You got to be happy the fact that there's a window for Jason Tatum to be that guy. And he is that guy right now. So, like I said, he's picking up a big win at home, guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in to Celtics Post Game Live. I'm your host, Rob Atayan. Next to me is Justin Lowe, and all the way to the right of your screen is Ian Angelo. Guys, until